Hello world, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Mike White, Artistic Director of the Milner Theater of the Performing Arts. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Showtime Television Network's presentation of Portraits of Milner. We'd like you to join us as we take a tour through the writings of one of Black America's most prolific Black playwrights. So join us as we see what the wine cellars about as we travel the roads to the mountaintop. We'll witness urban transitions. We'll even find out who's got his own. So sit back, click on, relax, and enjoy the show. Now I know change is frightening, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Everything had better change if it wants to continue to grow, to have new life. Y'all understand me this morning? You see? None of things stay here forever. Spring has got to come. Else ain't nothing gonna grow. Now being scared of change is like being scared of death. And Christians is supposed to know better. You see, death is just the gateway to everlasting life. And change is the gateway to reorder, to rebirth, to renew, and to relife. I don't think y'all understand. I really don't know if you do. I want you to try to understand me this morning. Now, I want you to take a look in my hand. Now, there's 1,000 changes going on there. There's thousands of deaths. There's thousands of births. The old tissues and cells, they's dying. And the new ones, they coming and they growing, you see. And if they ever stop changing, then that hand is gonna start to dry up, you see. And the veins, they gonna disappear and it's gonna start to atrophy. It's gonna develop the rheumatism and the arthritis, you see, and the paralysis, and I won't be able to move that hand. Y'all hear me? I won't be able to reach out and grab hold and move on the world, you see? And make changes in the world. Yes, Lord. And the man said, he said, Jesus said it. He said that you can't put new wine in old bottles. You cannot do that. It will break the bottles and you will lose the wine. You see, we've got to have a new way of doing things. You understand? Now, if they could keep Jesus locked up after 3 days, you see, he rose from that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if how we, the church, gonna keep him locked up in a tomb, riding on an ass, a donkey, while we riding around in 100-mile-an-hour cars, how are we gonna do that, huh? No, we can't. We can't do it that way. Now, we do it like he did it, you see, but we won't do it the same old way. New bottles for the new wine. Y'all don't hear me this, man. I just wonder, if Jesus were here today, what would he say? What would he say about a church, a congregation that builds $2 million churches, huh? When some of his own members are living in poverty? What would he say about that? I mean, don't have furniture in the home. Don't have food in the kitchen. What would a man that fed the multitudes, what would he have to say about that? Well, I tell you, I know what he would say. He fed the multitudes, he said, and said, suffer the little children to come unto me. I know what he would say. And that's why there's going to be some changes around here. You see, this church is going to build home, not church. You see, this church is going to take that money that you're giving and start a credit union. That's right. You see, we're going to provide somewhere where you can go when you need some help for yourself. We're going to provide some help so that you can go into your own business. That's right. I said your own business because we use too much of our talents building a business for somebody else, you see, and not our own. And the man said something about not wasting, but increasing the talents that God has given unto you. Huh? And I think that if you're going to be beholden to anyone, to any organization, why not be beholden to your church? And I'm going to tell you one thing. You see, this minister and this church ought not to take one dime, one penny from you unless it's doing something to help pay you. Huh? Unless it's helping to help this money work for you. And it's going to be some changes around here because we're about building people, not church. You know, I believe he was pointing to a man when he said, upon this rock I will build my church. Yes, you see, the rock of man, of the people, because Jesus didn't build no temples. He drove the money changers out of the temples. He didn't build no temples. He took his ministry of love, that God, love thy God and love thy brother as thy love thyself, out to the people wherever he found. Now he took it right to him. Love thy God, love thy brother as thy love thyself. And he didn't mean to be jumping all past your own brother and running across the street helping out somebody else's brother either. No, that's not what he meant. Because he said that this food was for his children, and his own family. And he wasn't going to give them Gentiles nothing. But the old Gentile woman, she said to him, well, all right, master, just give me the crumbs off your table. And then he saw that her heart was in the right place, and he decided, well, maybe I've got enough, a little extra. He'd give her some too. But what it meant was for him to take care of his own family first. That's right, because he knew that nobody needed help worse than his own folks. Yeah. So they was just like we are today. They was downtrodden just like us. They was oppressed just like us. That's right. And depressed and oppressed and oppressed and every other kind of press. Yeah. And they had laws. They had mighty armies against them. Just like we do today. Yeah, they do. I'm going to tell you something. Jesus said that they think I bring peace, but I bring a sword. A sword, not that old steel kind. No, not that. He didn't mean that kind of sword. I know, because when some of the soldiers, they run up to him with their swords and they told him, Master, let us kill him. And he told the soldiers, y'all put that sword away. That's not the sword that I mean. The sword that I meant is the sword of, y'all don't hear me. I'm talking about the sword of truth. I'm talking about the sword of self-respect. I'm talking about the sword of love. I'm talking about the sword of unity.